And we're live again. A little bit later today, but it's fine. There's one weapon component not working in multiplayer, so we need to get it fixed. And then we might have to spend some time working on the. Let me turn it on. Why's that volume so loud for the music? There we go. Maybe I just have it turned down here on my computer. And I just gotta send something for work real quick. I need to figure out why the mining beams are not actually working. Yeah, because the fact that they're not moving is more concerning than the fact that they're not firing. Okay, these are working fine. The other ones aren't. And from what I can see, no errors. The ship is here, right? All of our weapons, unless they're not being added to the components. Wait a second. Yeah, no, the hard points are there too. So they should be moving. That's a weird thing. They're not moving. Mm. Yeah, each of these snap points should be working. Just do. I'm gonna get a lot of spam, but it's fine. Hey, I've been doing a big push, man. Last 2 days, the whole weekend, work was a little bit stressful. Decided to take out that stress on development. Knocked out everything. Knocked out everything in multiplayer. I mean that in the absolute like insanity of every mechanic that we've ever built. I've got it working in multiplayer. You want a demo? Let me give you the demo. But first, let's get joined. We're trying to fix a bug with one of the weapons. Notice all ships now work in multiplayer. Yeah, so we should be getting some spam. Okay, not yet. It's probably only when the ship weapons are active, so. Okay, now we should be getting some spam. So the hardpoint tractor beam and the ship, yeah, those are all moving right now towards target. According to, I don't see it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Right, unless the gimbal is moving and the weapon is not. Yeah, is the gimbal moving? Let's see. Can we see the square? No, it's not moving. It says it's moving. It's not moving. Everything else is working for each of the other components. Tractor beams are the last weapon. So let's give you the tour. Let's restart the simulation. Yeah, so we are getting the gimbal. We're just not looking at the snap point. No, we're not the snap point itself. Yeah, this is fine. Aiming hardpoint, 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 hardpoint. Yeah, ship hardpoint left, ship hardpoint right. Tractor beam, tractor beam. It's so weird that it says it's doing it, yet it's not. Right, the convergence angle should be fine. The look at should be fine. It should clean up. Well, either way, it's going to be a problem for in just a little bit. Let's go back. Redo it. And I'm trying to send something for work, so just bear with me. Okay. All right. Let's begin. Let's give you the tour. We're gonna do this as if we're recording it, because man, I really need to figure out how to market this game and promote it and figure this stuff out for the work that I put into it. So let's move this player over here, the server player, so we can observe. All right, so we're gonna join now on client 2. Client 2 is kind of doing this thing. It's gonna head over here. Right, here's client 2, here's a server. Now over here, we have an item component area. I've unified all interfaces for all the item components. So watch this, let's spawn in a rifle. And we're playing this completely multiplayer. There's a rifle, I can see it. Spawning in a server, it's all replicated. I'm gonna go up to it, I'm gonna loot it. It's mine, you can see it in my inventory. You know, there it is. I don't know, maybe 16.9? Oh yeah, no, it's just hard to see. Okay, good. All right, so if we come over here, kind of sit back, let's bring our server character over, and what we can do is we can just kind of, hey, I would like to give you this rifle. Sure, I'm gonna go drop it on the ground. It's gonna spawn in. I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna check, see, I don't have anything in my inventory. I can go over, I can interact with it, I can loot it. And now I've just passed it from player to player. So I can, right, just take like my own little rifle and put it in my inventory and then drop it on the ground and then have, you know, another player come over and then grab it and then maybe swap out their rifle for the new rifle, and then, you know, we have a rifle and then, you know, we can probably take this one and give it back to the server desk player because maybe, you know, they might want a weapon. So, right, so that's the weapon. So how does that scale, right? Okay, cool. We got weapons in. That's neat. You know, what does it go further? And of course it does. We have our ship components that now fully work. All right, all of the ship components now work in multiplayer. So, but let's start off with ships themselves. So this player has a combat ship, right, that I've already configured. But for our case, we don't care about it anymore. So we're gonna go sell it. So we're gonna sell our little combat ship. Ignore the fact that it says purchase, so it's gone. I don't have the combat ship anymore. It's not there anymore. So let's go watch me buy another ship. So here's a fresh combat ship. I just purchased it. Here it is. You can spawn it in. It's fresh with fresh paint. It doesn't, you know, all of its components. Everything's fully synchronized. It's all great. You know, we're here. We're multiplayer together. We're gonna go buy some components for it, so let's come over, and we just need 2 tri-lasers for this, so I'll buy 2 tri-lasers. But I'm gonna demonstrate something. So here, these are mine. I bought these. Let's go back to the other player and buy some mining lasers, you know. And I'm gonna put these off onto this side. And what you'll notice is, like, you know, I don't have authority over his mining lasers. I can't tractor them. But neither can the other player. The other player can't tractor mine either. This is now fully working the way that I intended it to. But the, you know, obviously the authority can be enforced, right? Once it's on the ship, it's loose. Pluck it off, whatever. But that's the idea, right? So now with these that we just purchased, let's go and outfit our own combat ship that we just purchased. The way item components work in multiplayer has been fully changed. This is all working fine, so we can throw on our ship components. We can now store the ship. Right, it'll all save to our profile, stored, spawn it back in. Everything is working in multiplayer. We can jump in. Right, everything works. I can shoot. So let's go and park the ship just right here. Let's jump out. Let's go through all the other things that are online. So we now have, you know, fully working, even down to the actual consoles, missions. So all the different mission archetypes, including ship missions, are now working. So if I come over here to this player, we do a pick up and drop off mission. Okay, so we, you know, everything now is fully synchronized and working in multiplayer, all while we're playing together. Right, I just made money, the other person didn't make money. Let's do an NPC mission. So NPC mission, boom. Sometimes they spawn on, oh, there they are, they're over there, and we can see them. Right, they have shared aggro table. Gotta go kill this guy real quick. Okay, ignore the, they're not supposed to be continuously moving, but right, they're dead. Just let's do another type of mission. Let's do an actual ship mission. Alright, that just spawned in a ship over here on the horizon line. But hey, we have our ship we can go do this in. Now, hopefully... No, hang on, what happened to him? It's not targeting. Oh, he is targeting. He's just really tiny. Is he not a pirate? Oh, he can fly. He just can't. What's he stuck on? Gotta figure out what he's doing. He's like stuck on something. Hey, David. Yeah, so why... Oh wait, what's he doing now? No, yeah, he's just shooting. He's having trouble flying. He's not really stuck on anything. He can't shoot. He's trying to. But I'm noticing I'm not able to target him. I was redoing the NPCs, so... yeah, he's not dying either. So we've done something with him over the last day. He should be dead by now. Yeah, the fact that he's not moving is kind of... yeah, because I can target the player ship's fine. So there's something weird about this guy's flight. So continuing on the adventure. Wish it would stop using mouse with borders or whatever it's called. Weird stuff. I wish he would stop doing his shooting, but he's bugged. We'll get into it. So there's a whole pip system on it, and for the NPCs, they have a like a cone of accuracy. Right now, they're well, he's not actually able to do anything, so it's probably not showcasing. But whenever you have a target like this guy, like that's his pip, but he doesn't have any momentum, so like the pip's pretty accurate. And the auto gimbal, like, we do converge at the pip. once we have the enemy targeted, right? So it's like, you know, they are gimbaled weapons, and like the depth of the convergence point is a bit dynamic, so it depends on where the ray cast is hitting. So when something is targeted and you're aiming at it, you are aiming at that convergence point based upon the target. If you don't have a target, you're kind of blind firing at the average convergence point, which is like 1,200, you know, meters in front of the ship. But that changes, like, if we were to head. Oh, it might be okay. He might not recognize the combat ship, the NPCs, because the combat ship is new. But let me show you what I want it to. The next part of this. Check this out. So I do all of the simulation of fracturing on server side. Oh. Hang on, 1 second. It's a bit too strong. It will make more sense if we change the scenario. Let me grab 2 more mining lasers. So this simulation is fully happening in the server, and right now I'm only updating these at 15 hertz. But what happens is the server simulation pretty much runs each of the fragments on the server, you know, replicating it and ensuring simulation on the back end is stopped. Everything is replicated with what'll have interpolation. There's no interpolation on it right now, but every single one of these fractions, like if I go and I delete them, I just, you know, shooting them, they're taking damage, and they're being cleared up. You can see they're actually being cleared up on the server because their simulation is accurate enough. So I can run around, actually do the mining that I want it to do, and it's you know, it's fully working as intended, especially for like multiplayer, right? Because we want to make sure that, like, when we're doing, you know, multiplayer mining, it's important that the simulation of the fracture itself is accurate, but also important that it's replicated correctly, and that the end result of the, you know, the rigid bodies, you know, makes sense, right? So they blow correctly, and then we can start, you know, mining them down. And like I said, if you look over on the server screen, like the first little client, all of this is accurate, and we're actually, you know, right now we're just damaging it with mining laser because we got to get the tractor beams working in multiplayer. So we're not really sucking anything up, we're just kind of breaking them down and just kind of doing extra damage and destroying them. But it's just proving the, you know, proof of concept. Just do another one over. So with interpolation, I think these will look absolutely amazing. And the cool thing is, like, once the simulation stops on server and it stops broadcasting, it ensures it's shared replicated positions, right? Then it's just locked to solid again, right? And we can kind of start mining them. And then of course the server will still respond to physical bumps and things like that, right? Like, just it's your ship on the server making the right, the authoritative decisions of, you know, have the simulation runs. On the client, we're actually just disabling these, right? They're only enabled for the sake of not looking into them. Yeah, so we see why. Alright, so these are the new truck stops. So we got the habitation stuff working now online as well. So these placeholders need to change. They're just from the gray box that we were testing before. And I have a whole new system for the skyboxes for the server stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to get all the mechanics in. I'm trying to get all the mechanics working in multiplayer. All the little nuanced stuff. I know you've seen the 0G stuff, all the 0G changes for the player. But anyway, we'll figure out what's up with the NPC when we figure out what's up with the... Yeah, so for some reason, one of those is not moving. It's really weird. Because the weapons should be spawning straight into the, oh, that's one thing I didn't actually check. Let me, maybe they're not locking. Let's, yeah, we gotta fix the sitting animations. Yeah, so we're gonna check to see if all the weapons spawned in correctly. Like, I think they're in correctly. It's weird because the mining lasers are working fine. It's just the tractor beams. But it's not that they're not working, it's that they're not even registering. And there's literally no reason. They have authority, they're fine. I'm not getting the sound effect when we right click. But either way, like, they should be moving. They should be moving even in multiplayer. Like, that's always been a thing. Right, especially if it's the gimbal aim point that's moving. The only exception would be if the no, because weapons are RPC, they're not right, their movement is based upon the look at the look gimbal or the look target being synchronized. So there should be no reason why let's run the collision shapes. Do we get a relaunch for that? Yes. You know the red, how nauseating the red is right now. So, does this collision shape on the inside move? feel like there's some extra properties that need to be synchronized for the ore mining ship. No, okay, they are moving. Wait, what? Huh? But only 2 of them. So they are moving for me, but not for. Let me connect to another file. It's a weird one. Wait, that actually looks converged. Okay, so on the authority, we have movement, so there has to be something different about the ship synchronization of the combat. Weird. It's like on the test one. Right, one mining ship. Oh, it is there are hardpoint rotations that need to be synced. So we do need to set up each of these multiplayer spawners a little bit differently. Once the server says the physics calculations are done, can a client like wake it back up? For example, after chunks are done moving, can a client bump them? Yes. The goal is for them to just persist as children, but only be synchronized to the parent. So if they get bumped or whatever, right? Then they're like kind of like marked dirty, I guess would be like the way that I would kind of like emphasize it. Which means, hey, RPC out these changes to the client, right? Because the server bumped it, and then that would be like fine. And for a lot of this stuff, I think initially I'm going to keep it pretty static, right? And until we kind of get a good foundation of gameplay, and then we'll look at making it a little bit more loose, right? All depending on total number of asteroids to be able to deal with them, and how the server is handling them. Like if we're only ever dynamically spawning in chunks of asteroids, you know, and it's not like they're staying around for a long time, whatever. Players are mining them, and right, it's not like, you know, like there's only ever so many of them within an area. Then we get a lot more throughput, right? We get a lot more of what we can do, right? So they can be a bit more dynamic, but I only trust them right now as one network object per total asteroid. And they're one network object per total asteroid as a child of the field. So the field is kind of like the determinant. The field spawns in or resets, right? The different asteroids, right? Depending on where like a seed value, and then they kind of reset. And the only thing always random is composition, so the makeup, right? Like it's random how they fracture, right? With their clumping, and it's random what is spawned within them, which you can scan in advance to see. So you're kind of just looking, right? And my thought process is to eventually get clever enough to kind of make the field itself spawn in certain high probable materials at certain spots. Well, I wouldn't say random. There are 16 prefabs, but they clump randomly, right? So they don't use like a mesh, like damage state or anything. By doing it that way, the way that the 16 variants stay together, it creates a lot of different like visual variation. And when you put, you stick in a lot of decaying visual effects, in the mix, and then you kind of becomes a lot less predictable. Because that's like the compromise, right? Like for all of these things, like even the ship's salvage states, like the different, like each ship breaks down into, like 16 larger pieces for salvage, right? And they're also predeterminate. It's the same concept, right? Like the ship is a big asteroid, but not really. It has its pieces, and once it reaches a damage state, the ship can be, kind of like parted out. So exact same concept, same tech, right? Because I want to get the game. We got to get it done. I'm very concerned, and I think I've spent enough time. I think all the designs are correct. Like I think the infrastructure and the ideas and everything. I think I have a good grasp of, like the scope and the edge cases and things. And it's really just we just got to get this thing fleshed out now, systems wise, and then. Let's get back to the art. Yeah, so that was the issue. So we need. See, and I don't like that. I think. I don't like the idea of adding the individual hard points to the rotations, because technically that is definitely something that can happen on the client side. Like in other words, like we must server authoritatively move the gimbal aim point. It's called like the gimbal aim point. It's a visual indicator, and this gimbal aim point is a thing that is synchronized over multiplayer. So the idea of we don't really need to synchronize the individual gimbals if on the client side anyway they're always aiming at this point, as long as the server is accurate, in their as long as the server's ship is the source of truth, then synchronizing every one of them doesn't really matter. I'm going to add it for now, but we're going to go in and re-optimize it. I've done this already for the player for the most part too. Yeah, so the convergence point and the gimbal aim point. The gimbal aim point doesn't need to be something. It doesn't need to be an inch anymore. Yeah, this can just be a marker. And I'm just going to do this. Yeah, because if the gimbal aim point does its thing, they really shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Like this physics process should just be happening. The look at itself should be happening regardless of authority. It should be client side. Because this is just the visual representation, right? It's not important. If all that matters is that the gimbal aim point calculation is accurate. Yeah, okay, so that'll be an optimization that we'll do. We're just going to add the other, let's add the missing gimbals for the time being. Because it's not even like, I don't even know why they're, yeah, it's just their position. Will you be targeting Steam Deck or Steam Box specs? I believe so. I don't believe I have the skills. I mean, Unforgiven Space and its Unity form, those look pretty good, but it still doesn't have materials in like super high level of detail. I really, and if I don't know if I showed you, I don't know if you were here over the last few days, the baked lighting approach that I wanted to do, where I'm combining standard light map GI, like so baked light maps, right, that I process like here on the rig, with real-time lighting, right? So my goal then is for each station module. So each station module is generally 32 to 64 meters. So every light inside the station has a fall off distance where it's not rendered, 32 to 64 meters, right? Same with shadow distances. Shadow distances will never be more than 64 meters, right? Because that's like the component size. So the way modules work, modules will have 8 real-time lights, right? 1 reflection probe, 1 cubicle reflection probe, central. It could very well be. I mean, that'd be great. You know what I mean? Like how do I beat? Those are all the questions, right? Like how do we beat? Not beat SC, but how do we create a higher audience with a lower, I won't say quality game, but a lower visual target game, right? And the answer to that is way more mechanics that are different and more meaningful. And then B, having a lower visual target, right? That means more people can play it, and I think that's important too, right? And that it just has smaller scope in general, so that we don't really need to worry about, like some of the, right? It's like some of those kind of issues. Yeah, so we just want rotations. I think we should probably start refactoring this now, but I want to get it working. So the tractor beam hard point, and the other tractor beam right. So when right rotation, the cargo grid, the warp. But that doesn't explain though why the shooting is not working. So for them. Because they are a variant of the beam weapons. I know I made the tractor beam its own class, and we've attempted to kind of merge it back together, but it doesn't necessarily work in the same way. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think as well. Right? Is the mechanics, the what to do, how it feels, the immersion, like knowing that like each one of these NPCs has their own kind of like life. I know they're like kind of virtual and they're kind of boring right now, but like I don't know, like it'll be neat to be in a universe that kind of has a bit more lore behind it, or more right. Visuals are not like they really do make good. There's so many hours on Mega Blocks, and that's oh, Megabank, and that's really lighting graphics. Yeah. If you have like a big, not a negative grind, but if you have like, the ability to just kind of have variation of fun and do different things and kind of play in the sandbox and have some fun, goals set out for you, I think it'd be fun. I'm just gonna make sure everything works. And I'm running the game at like 15 hertz right now. I've toned down the physics rate for testing. That's why, like, if you notice, the gun looks so jittery. I'm actually just really testing physics interpolation, like scene tree physics interpolation, to see kind of like, like how that falls off and how it works. So these are not cool. So let's see now if Much better. Yeah, so we know that it's working, we just know it's not firing. And I think the issue is because it's a custom weapon that inherits from I think we need to unify the weapon. So like how much of mining laser beam can be kind of moved? Because I don't know, I think what's happening is when we run oh yeah, that's another thing too. I wonder if the weapon is actually not spawning in as a right, because like we have a beam length here. Like this is already built into ship weapon itself. So like the ship weapon could be a beam or it could be a pulse. Maybe we need to unify the way the ship weapon is like a universal thing, or we need to support extension more effectively. Maybe it was working, it was just disabled. How does this even get that mesh? Yeah, I don't even see beam mesh. It says this must not even be the original tractor beam. Right, because I'm not seeing the beam mesh here at all. Right, because we have the meshes on this thing. Beam shader. How's it going, David? Yeah, because this is right. Unless we're using hologram shader on it. Yeah, I'm gonna just redo the beam mesh real quick. I don't know what's up with this. Because we're supposed to have a direct reference to this beam mesh. Beam medium chip mining. Right, it's looking for the beam mesh, which is the same as the base. And gather ore too. Right, because it is setting the, yeah, weird. Okay, well, this should find the beam mesh and work. It's weird. I'm just here smoking, working, watching. Oh yeah. We're just breaking things, you know? It's things that, like, probably are working, but, you know. Like, you know, those might have been working in multiplayer the whole time, but just, you know, we weren't synchronizing rotation, and... But I'm getting a code smell on the beam up and stuff, so we will need to look into it. Because there should be nothing stopping the multiplayer aspect of, because ships are passed to authority, like they have their own authority, they're building up their own ore on the server. It should all be, you know, pretty much working. Can't wait to give these things a pass. So I'm right clicking to fire them. I'm not really getting, you know, an action to fire. And I think that's what we need. We need to add some debug. Like, are we actually firing the RPC of this? Because the issue is I think we're doing it. We're running the base physics process. And I guess that raycast is the same. It's got a model, it's got a raycast. Raycast is the same. 261, 261. Right. On our members, so our beam mesh is this one. Yep, that's right. We just got a couple of warnings. Was it camera? I have a feeling we're not, ship weapons is not, the second fire group is not working with, if the item is a ship weapon, then we're saying, hey, weapon RPC, set firing. But the question is, what function is setting this? Is it the base class, or is it the actual ship component? So fire group 2 should be happening. This should be firing on the weapon. Fire group 1, fire group 2. It's all the same. Return free weapons. Yeah, and they're definitely set. So I'm just gonna expand this G8 out. Right, because this should be setting is firing. Do the modules themselves break apart? All of the individual components can be removed until you're down to the hull, and then at the hull level, like the bags, you know, that are part of the the ship configuration of being a mining ship can be totally separated. Those are like two different pieces. All modules can be loose. They could I could build damage states into them to make everything more granular. But for now, they just need to come off. They just need to be able to be broken apart so we can do salvage. So I want to see if we're actually firing on the server. Like, are we actually firing the second weapon group? I feel like we're just not firing the weapon group. And if we are, then it must be just a visual that we're actually not firing. Okay. No, it's working. We're looking for so for a tractor beam medium, we're spamming true, false, true, false. Yeah, it's working. So we are firing them. Weird. So for a moment, once the ship breaks, the modules are salvageable. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I want you to be able to go and pluck off things off of other ships. I want certain components to only be salvageable, to be honest. Like, I want to have some legacy gear. It's like a -1 component that's really old. Like, think like, I don't know how cars were made. Like, you'd find parts that were from like, you know, the 70s and 80s, and they're like they last forever, and they're like super stable, and they're from a different time. And then the more modern stuff is crap. So it's like there's like an adapter to it, right? So there's an adapter that kind of makes it a size -1. So it's not as good, you know, as an equally tiered component, but it's super high reliable. So wears like less, and they look kind of more retro, like older, but they're kind of like unique items you can find. Right, and they'll still have really good stats. They'll be like very equivalent, right, to the item size that you're looking for, but you just get like, yeah, they're just really good, but you know, they have their own trade-offs, and I think they'd be kind of fun to find and maintain. Yeah, so this is working. So we're just not. What are we done? What are we? Are we just not running this physics process? Oh my god! Wait. Right, like the mining beam, depending upon. Right, like I don't know if we're running a just beam. Alright, like this should be running. This should be doing its thing, which is setting the beam to be based on firing. And I'm also going to start spamming the firing. Because it shouldn't be this firing, it should be the firing from the base class. Okay, this is the firing that is protected, which we should be inheriting. Change firing that is firing. No, but it's not. It should be firing because we're extending chip weapon. We want to access. Right, like we want to access is firing. We want it from the parent class. Which is weird because we should be able to do it. Base is firing. Because I think we're reading the one inside the class and not the one we need. Yeah, because that should be based on the. Yeah, so it should. Is it just not virtual? Some AI help here. Yeah, it's a space musical. Right, so the base class already defines a protected field and provides a public method set firing. Replace the usage of firing and chip mining being what is firing from the base class. Wait, what? Wait, is it? Is it? Am I just... Oh, it is firing. I'm an idiot. No, apparently it's just me being tired. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, I have this one from Spotify. It's got a really good. I like how that copy is firing over the network. I didn't copy my link. Yeah. And it goes in anything goes in Deus Ex. Lots of good stuff in it. Really funny, I was listening to the Subnautica soundtrack earlier, and it's kind of amazing how spacey the Subnautica soundtrack is. I mean, I guess it kind of is in space when you think about it. The fact that I'm seeing it spam is it's really good. So why... Wait, why is there two? Right, because there's still... Is there like something... Yeah, there is one still there. I guess on the base class. It's so weird. Alright, and depending on what rock type we're kind of pulling this stuff in with, it'll be a little bit different. I'm just using a generic particle effect right now. Weird. Maybe we didn't need to... So I went and copied that mesh and maybe didn't need it. It's like, I brought this one over, but apparently that one's not used. That's weird, like where else is it loading in a mesh? Right, one is not defined here. Just the mining particles. Right, unless I'm like duplicating the mesh from the model. Mesh, do. Oh, we're sampling it from. Okay. Gotcha. We don't need to do any of this stuff. We can get it from the model. Excellent. And we can get rid of this attractor as well soon. Beam, the beam land, the beam force, max heat. Alright. Wait, stop, please. Elite Dangerous. Also a really good soundtrack as well. I've never actually considered buying the Elite Dangerous soundtrack. I listened to it with the pro version of Spotify, but I should actually look at picking it up. Immerse, tell that. So we need a mining, okay, so we're gonna need a refinery mission terminal where we get ahead of ourselves in that station. We need a refinery missions. And then move these over here. And we need a refinery panel. And that scale is absolutely wrong. Hey, Pixis. And the only thing is the mining does actually need a hangar to exist. So there's a chance that this won't work right away. And we might have to actually set up like a faux hangar. We could do I don't know, actually maybe not. Maybe this doesn't actually need. Are we only looking for ships inside this area 3D? Yes. It's just to bind the UI to the ship. Okay, easy peasy. So let's create an area for the ships real quick here. Throw it in the line pad so we can zero it out. I call it hangar area. And if we need to, we'll make it better. Box. 24 by 32 by 16. And let's do 16. Let's just do 8 actually. At 4. Nah. And this hangar area is only going to be dealing with ships. And then this refinery panel is fine. This one is going to hook up to this hangar area and do the scale. And then we should be able to accept our refinery emissions. Yeah, we'll see how well these work. Couple 7. 28. So here's our ore. So we need 500 units of ore. Because I don't know if that got accepted or not. Okay, no, we're good. So, okay, so we need a little bit of ore. Let's go see if it works. You guys see the ore going up right here? I gotta fix the floatiness of the ship. But the only thing is, I don't remember how much the ship holds. Because we're at 24% now, and I feel like it's maybe 500 units. Crack another one. I'll just finish grabbing these. Make sure this ray gas is a bit more accurate. Yeah, I think what we need to do is, as we're aiming, if we don't find a thing, we just maintain that original convergence point. Like, don't reset the convergence point until we're actually hitting something. Or we can slowly drift the convergence point back to 1200 or whatever the default is. Because it kind of makes it seem really weird when the beams are kind of like fully extending. And I kind of want to fade them out anyway on the right ends, so they look more like what the word I'm looking for. I would hate to have my collision layers messed up. Okay, so we're full on ore. We just got ore. There it is. There's ore. So let's go back and put this thing inside the hangar area and see if we can sell it. Okay. So we have how much money right now? So we have, so I'll say we're at 2 million, but we're at 1498. 2 million, 1498. So we're gonna go to the roof. Oh, there it is. There's our ore. We have 996 ore. Sell. What did we get? We get the credits. Did we get the credits? They turn up all this debugging. Oh, it's still spamming the adjust beam. Makes sense. From when we were testing. Hey, it works. Excellent. Every mechanic now works. All game loops that I've made so far work in multiplayer. That's cool. Excellent. Cool. That's awesome. And the mission's complete. Cool. So now we have FPS missions, even though they're kind of like boring because of like the IK is still crap. We can do NPC missions. We can do ship missions. We gotta fix the ship weapons, but I think the ship weapons was suffering from the same issues that oh, it's gonna be so cool soon. Soon we'll have a game to play. Yeah, so that adjusted. Let's remove all this debug. So what do we need to remove here? So much happening. It's gonna be a million. The ship mining beam, all the physics spam, and then also is the asteroid taking damage. Can't even like scroll. Ship mining beams in process. We do it just beam. Yard plaza. Okay. And then the asteroid taking damage. Asteroid fracture. Shard. Yep. Don't really need to know about this. We do need to know that the shard was destroyed. Nah, college destroyed, blah blah blah. I don't think we yeah. I think you can queue it free whenever. Queue free is deferred by nature. I know what you're talking about. So the source of damage is the tractor beam. Add the mass. Yeah, we decided not to do that. We do that unimplemented. And we'll leave that test area in. Alright, we're going to push this. Fixed. Or check. Writing result there. Done. Yeah, I don't think we're using player anywhere in a ship weapon. Yeah. I guess I don't know why we're using scene. Because where we would use scene, we would just use current tree scene anyway. So I don't think this needs to exist. It does need to be set. We have a set player that doesn't do anything. For a ship like that. I think I figured the account panel works in multiplayer. Right, forgive currency, reset currency. We have a ship terminal here. Man, everything is gonna look so good soon. It's gonna be awesome. There's one here, round ships. Does it work? Is this panel hooked up to anything? I don't think it is. Oh, purchase. Okay, let's purchase an ore mining ship. Spawn it in. I don't think this station has its hangars hooked up. Let me just check this one. So getting all this kind of, you know, forcefully networked. Everything must be networked now. There's no single player code. Yeah, so we try spawning it in. Let's try to get this scene, this test scene that we've always played around in. Yeah, so player ship spawner is good. Going to ships. This first station, this one, is this one. It should have its landing pad set up. Oh, it's hangars that it needs, not landing pads. I don't think the landing pads work anymore. Station manager. Waypoints. Helpers and modules. Medical. Landing pads. Boom. Okay. Okay, I think if there's landing pads set up, it still works as a backup. Max NPCs 10, because we don't need that many anymore for testing. The region. I think the sensors range is less verbose as well. Robot. What are we getting? Nothing, because yeah, we've officially moved to hangars. So it's not finding a spot to spawn it in. So what is our multiplayer then? This station in multiplayer, how is this set up? What is this? Because it is a landing pad. The station manager doesn't even have the landing pad defined here. So how are we auto spawning? When we don't have this landing pad. Oh, I see. Use the finds landing pads in the jail room. Do. So the one that we have here is one that's automatic. Let me see. So the one that it found is it one that yeah, found 4 landing pads, found 1 landing pad. Okay, so the landing pads are being set dynamically. So what's different about this systems project then? Okay, I get it. Station 1, Station 2, they're not actually set up. Okay, asteroid field, count systems, nav points. Ship NPCs node. Oh, these are pirates. The NPC ship spawner is system level. Or is it NPC ship spawner? NPC ship spawner. Maybe this thing is not hooked up to the station. Maybe this rail should pan up. Oh yeah. There's no landing pad. Okay, so we could put this thing up to landing pad. Where's that? 1. Landing pad 0. Switch it to the station. Okay. Maybe just made this work here, so it's kind of central. We don't really need this one then. We just want to move it over here. After this, we're going to go raid someone. I'm going to call that a success. Yeah, this station is broken. I'm just going to move some of the. I'll move the world environment, lighting, and everything over into the other station. Shit's fine. Should have all the resources that I need to. Star system is not spawned. It's not finding the star system. Oh. And I remove that prison station. Alright, I'm gonna end it here on the YouTube. I'm gonna find someone to raid. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Remember, if you guys are interested in supporting the Pirate Project, check out the explanation below Patreon if the command still works. Like, I gotta like wrangle my bots. No bots. Anyway, unforgiven space.com. Pages of the Discord.